podcast made by basketball fans for basketball fans. From the hottest takes, news, analysis, and passion for the sport that we all love, this is the Fast Break Pod with Finn James and Will Tremaine. Welcome into the Fast Break Podcast, the podcast made by basketball fans.
For basketball fans.
Finn James.
Will Tremaine.
Back again with another episode. I think we're at 35, Will.
35.
35.
It's going quick, mate.
35 band-smacking great episodes of
35
basketball.
Grammy Award-winning future Hall of Fame podcasts.
Future Hall of
going
Fame?
down in the history books.
You reckon?
Yeah. Joe Rogan ain't got nothing on us.
Yeah,
mate.
well, we're coming for him. Potentially.
Give us 20 decades.
Besides the point, same business as usual on the pod today. Bit of world news, bit of NBL, bit of Cells NBL, of course, and we'll wrap the podcast with a look at the NBA playoffs, which has been so exciting in some series, of course.
Second round's always the better.
I agree.
First round, there's like always a couple of matchups, you know, Cavs, Heat, Thunder, Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Who really cares about them?
Yeah.
But once we get into the second round, they're all going to be competitive.
However, there has been some very good ones, and we'll have to dive deep into that in the back end of this pod. Of course, if you want to skip to anywhere you can, time codes down below. If you want to skip straight to the NBA, you can. Of course, there will be some NBL and Cells NBL wrap, and our Fast Break Podcast MVP for week number 4 will be there as well, if you're really wanting to skip to that too. But
Along with week 3, we'll do a quick recap of who won that week.
Of course we will. But of course, as we always start, a bit of world news before we jump into some NBL. What has been happening in the global world of sport, or just the New Zealand shores?
Auckland FC got a 1-0 win over Perth Glory today. Just happened. I think that solidifies them as winners of the Premier Plate.
Yeah, they
the
lifted
first New Zealand team to ever win the Premier Plate, despite being there for 1 year. Shame the Phoenix.
Man, they're
Never
good.
been able to do that.
They lifted it at Mount Smart today. Liam was there. A few other boys were there, and
I think they'd already actually won it before this game because
one of the
Melbourne
results,
or something tied.
One of the results in the early, I think it might have been last night, had already determined their win. However, the 1-0 win over Perth just put an icing on the cake, really.
Yep.
They got to lift the plate in front of a pretty sure might have been a sold-out crowd at Mount
They've all
Smart.
been sellouts, man.
Yeah, true. So I think there's maybe one round left remaining in the A-League, and then we'll be getting right into playoffs. And with the Auckland FC at number 1, they'll be getting a home semi.
Hopefully they can pull off the double Premier and the whatever they call the actual other.
I actually don't know what it's called.
Who
A-League
knows?
Champions, maybe?
It's ours.
I reckon. They're looking pretty damn good. So that's really good for Auckland FC. Bit of boxing news, Will.
Yeah. I thought I'd highlight this biggest fight in British boxing of recent memory. Took place last night, I believe. Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank, and I've put here Ben versus Eubank 3. It's their first time ever fighting each other. However, their two dads, Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr.,
Oh, wow.
fought twice in the 90s. It was one of the biggest British boxing rivalries of all time. Took place back in the 90s. Chris Eubank Sr. won both of those matchups 2-0. So this one had massive implications in it. Eubank family wanted to keep it 3-0. Ben family out for revenge. And Chris Eubank came out on top again. So the Eubanks finished out the family feud 3-0. Who knows? They might do another one. But yeah.
Just a quick question. Eubanks. Long lost relative of Drew Eubanks from the LA Clippers?
I'm guessing you haven't seen a photo of Chris Eubank
No, I
Jr. or
haven't.
Senior.
I haven't.
But I would firmly say no. Maybe 20,000 generations back.
Right, okay.
But,
That's
yeah.
enough for me.
Yeah. Not related at all. But yeah, great fight. He won by unanimous decision. Conor put some good shots in there, but he was a smaller man, so he was always going to struggle to get the win in this one.
How good.
But yeah, bit of boxing.
Warriors continue their hot streak. I think it was a 24-12 win against the Newcastle Knights. The Knights are really crap, so I was expecting this. This was down in Christchurch, so pretty good crowd down there. And the new stadium, of course, coming in next season, so that's going to be exciting. But the Warriors continue to what am I trying to say here? They continue to prove people wrong. They continue to win. They continue to prove people wrong. I don't know how good they're going to be in the back end of the season. It's only been very early on, but they look good. Chance Nickel-Clockstar returning until 2027, announced last week as well. So that's
How
always
great.
Do you even know who that is?
Warriors suck.
All right.
Warriors suck. Every sports team that's named the Warriors suck. So
Do you know who else
Okay.
sucks? The Blues.
say it.
The
Oh,
Blues. The Blues are really bad. Oh, and the Portland
Nah.
Trailblazers. But the Blues are bad.
they suck, man.
9th on the table, lost to the Reds in Super Rugby. And guess who won against the Highlanders in an absolute hiding?
I wonder who.
Take a guess.
Crusaders.
Ah! continue. We're 8-2, same as the Chiefs. Top of the table, tied.
Well done.
Love to see it.
Yeah, that's all for some world news. A little bit of NBL news recently, Finn. Some
Woo-wee.
big news coming out of different media sites. I don't know who this came from, but possibly PJC might be returning to the New Zealand Breakers, Finn.
Rumors. A
Rumors.
lot of rumors.
Yeah, let's not get too excited, guys, but this could be the saving grace of our season because it was looking rough, to put it blank. But with PJC back, it's all you need to have a contending team, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, he was first in MVP voting until the FIBA break when we were 7-3. Looked genuinely like the best player in the NBL. If we can somehow ink this man for another season, third in a row it would be. He'd be under Coach Kopp again with a completely different supporting cast.
I know I said there's no chance of him coming.
You did
him coming
last
back,
week.
but I might have to eat my words on that one, and I
Yeah.
shall eat them with pleasure.
Okay.
Because PJC, oh my gosh, I got to see him now in that OG black Breakers jersey.
Oh,
yeah, he ain't gonna be wearing that.
I know.
Ain't
This will
gonna
be
be wearing
gone. This will be gone. When
gone.
the new season comes around, I'm definitely going to be copping a new one. Maybe one of the boys that will come back for another season. Or if they maybe do a
maybe a
throwback. Maybe they put an Abercrombie one out and I can buy one of those.
That'd be tough.
However, what would this mean if the Breakers were to re-sign PJC? What's your confidence levels going like? Because I feel like at the moment mine are relatively low with the signings we've made, the
they're
local
very low.
boys. But however, it's a building block, it's a foundation, trying to get those local boys back so we can build on that going into the future. The 3 imports are going to be very, very, very important going into the season.
I'm not gonna lie. If it's just PJC, my expectations aren't gonna be raised that much still, because we obviously had him last year and we saw how that worked out. We got to build a team around PJC. It's gonna work out. I like Rob Lowe as a signing.
Yeah.
I think he works very well with PJC. He can pick and pop. You know, PJC's only really been with players who pick and roll when they're setting him a screen.
Sam, though?
Sam, but
Sam's
he's
still
not as good of a three-point shooter as Rob Lowe.
True.
You've got Rob Lowe now, probably one of the greatest big men shooters in the NBL.
He'd be up there
I've
for
ever
sure.
seen.
He'd be up there. He's good.
And yeah, I think we just need to go out there, hit a home run on these last 2 import signings, and we could be in with a shout. But with PJC at the helm, there's always going to be a shout.
It's all just speculations, of course. Of course it is. I mean,
Of
it's
course,
always going to be a
of course.
rumor surrounding imports coming back. However, I think this is going to be a huge marquee signing for us if we're able to ink his name on a contract under the new Breakers boys. You know, with the new ownership and everything. And if we can get him, hopefully that'll entice some better imports that possibly want to come and play for us. If we land PJC, the level of those 2 other imports might be higher because they'll see how good he's been in previous years and hopefully want to play alongside him.
Yep. 100% agree with you, Finn. But you know what's not rumors? What's signed, sealed, and delivered
Damn.
is that Kendrick Davis is a Sydney King.
What the fuck? Sorry for my language, but this is not what I expected at all to see in the last week of NBL free agency. Well, obviously it's not the last week, but the last week that has been. When this news broke, I thought it was honestly kind of fake. Obviously, there was rumors surrounding Kendrick Davis returning to the NBL, whether it was going to be Adelaide. I think I might have even seen Brisbane as an option, and maybe even Perth with Bryce Cotton leaving. Kendrick Davis would have slotted in there perfectly. But I did not expect Sydney to get his name onto paper.
Be honest, Finn. When you first saw the news, was your reaction was it on par with the Luca reaction when that was traded?
No, I don't think it was.
Not quite.
Not quite.
But yes,
Close. Similar tier.
massive. And to pair him now with Matthew Dellavedova in the backcourt there,
Yeah.
they've got an offensive absolute weapon, and then they've also got Delhi, who's a great defender.
Really good
I mean,
passer.
The 2 of them are going to create havoc for the rest of the league. And then you got Xavier Cook still down low. They're going to be dangerous, man. What are their title chances? What are you giving them?
Yeah. Myself, depending on who they sign for the rest of the season,
They've got big favourites now, no?
They got a great coach in Brian Gorshian, of course. They still have Xavier Cooks, who's somehow already served his suspension on drug charges, so he'll be back to start the year. Dellavedova, one of the best local point guards in the league, and then to match Kendrick Davis, who was, I think, a runner-up in MVP last year. I mean,
They're great signings, but at the same time,
That's a
they're going to
three-headed
lose
monster.
other players. Like
Yeah.
Jalen Adams is gone, right?
I'm pretty sure.
You got Cam Oliver and Kwat Noy. I don't know if what's happening with them, if they're coming back or if they're still signed.
I think Kawhi might be still on contract.
So that will be massive.
Do you know
But,
who is
I mean,
gone, though? I think Alex Tui is declaring for the draft.
Yes.
So we might not see him next year.
But I mean, the problem Sydney had last year was there were just too many people on this team that were good and demanded the ball. I think that's really what was their downfall in the end. They just didn't have enough ball to go around for all the players to do their thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, with these two signings, it's going to be a bit of the same, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, Delhi was one of the better passers in the NBL, in my opinion, last year. I mean, he averaged, I think he might have had a triple-double last season, if I'm mistaken me if I'm wrong.
I think he led the league in assists as well.
Potentially. What I saw, a report when this signing all happened, Kendrick Davis spoke to media, of course. He said when he saw Matthew Dellavedova signed for the Sydney Kings, apparently he was very interested as soon as that had happened.
Damn.
He got in contact with the assistant coach at Sydney straight away, and apparently Delhi was all on board and sent him a 10-minute highlight reel of Delhi playing double point guard with Kyrie Irving on the Cleveland Cavaliers, sending Kyrie on backdoor cuts and Delhi hitting him and everything. And apparently the whole thing was, hey, this could be us. Do you want to be Kyrie Irving with me on Sydney? I'll hit you on backdoors all season long. I'll hit you open. So Delhi's really going to be taking that facilitator role with Kendrick Davis being an absolute beast on the offensive end. This is going to be an interesting watch for the start of the next season.
Kendrick's going to be a bit more of a 2 this year. So,
yeah.
it'll be interesting.
Exciting, though. And I think they're going to have some pretty... depending on who they sign, of course. I think with a three-headed monster of Cooks, Delhi, and Davis...
Imagine Bryce Cotton comes out of retirement to sign with the Sydney.
Well, no, he's not retired. He's just going to a different league.
Yeah, sorry, not retirement.
They don't have the cap space for that. There's
Just
no way.
left, and he comes back to Sydney.
That would be ridiculous.
You run a 3-guard lineup.
That would not
Bryce
work.
Cotton, Kendrick, and Delhi.
Ridiculous. But I think this is a great pickup for Sydney. The three-headed monster of Cooks, Davis, and Delhi. Man, I don't know. I think they got some crazy potential here if they figure it out early on, which you alluded to earlier. The Kings struggled with that a lot last season. If they can figure it out early, this is going to be a pretty scary team to face, I think, next year.
Definitely. But getting into some New Zealand NBL action, quick rundown of the scores from the round.
Mm-hmm.
Round 7, I think we are on this week.
So.
Jets.
It's gone quick, by the way.
Has.
Damn.
Jets 107, Tauranga Phi 85, Hawke's Bay 80, Franklin Bulls 88. Good win for them there. The Sharks beat the Giants 97-76. Jets got another win over the Panthers. No surprises there, 106-70. Canterbury Rams absolutely destroyed the Auckland Tuatara. Sorry to put it like that. 131-78. I was actually at this game, and they just could not miss. 2 players in specific, which we'll get into soon, but just absolutely everything was falling for them. I think they shot something like 62% from 3 in the game.
Wow.
Which is insane. And then Tuatara just couldn't get going. Will Hickey struggled in this one. But yeah, we'll get into that a bit more with our Fast Break MVP rankings.
Of course we will.
A few more games. What do we have, Finn?
Taranaki Airs 95-90 and a pretty close win over the Phi, and the Hawke's Bay Hawks 87-75 over the Wellington Saints. In a game that just wrapped up live on the pod, which I don't think you've seen, the Nelson Giants have got their first win of Sal's NBL 25.
Hey. At least they got one before the Panthers. That would have been embarrassing.
That would have been embarrassing. They finally got their first win. It was over the Otago Nuggets, 98-86. So a great win for the Giants, finally on the board. They just got a new import as well. So maybe he had something to do with that.
Yeah.
Which is good news, considering their imports were quite lackluster. Obviously, they got rid of all of them. Alex Robinson came in from the Panthers. They signed this new fella, and I think they have one more coming in. So good signs in Nelson. Pretty long season. Do I think they'll probably crack into the 6? No, I don't. Sorry, Nelson fans. You're a bit too far down the ladder now. But it's good to see you guys get on the board. That's all I have to say. And if we look through the table, of course, Canterbury Rams still ahead. 7-2 with top of the table. Wellington Saints, Franklin Bulls, 2nd and 3rd equal with 7-3. The Airs close behind. The Tuatara with 2 losses this round dropped to 9th with 5-5.
Yeah, it was a rough round for the Tuatara.
Unfortunate. That close game against the Airs, man. That was a deal breaker for them. That was that was not good. Not good at all. But
anyway, getting into a Fast Break podcast MVP week 4. But before we do that, we forgot to make a clip for week 3 last week, so I'm just quickly gonna say who won it. For clip purposes, of course. Number 1 was Josiah Alec, number 2 was Kalen Boone, and number 3 was Tohi Smith-Milner. Who do we have leading off with some honourable mentions for week 4, Finn?
We had the 2-headed monster from the Taranaki Airs, but not the 2-headed monster you probably would have thought. We had Jack Andrew, surprisingly. Well, actually, that's harsh. He's had a pretty good year, leads the league in blocks. We had a monster game against the Phi. I think he had 28 and 15.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so very good game against the Phi, and then Owen Foxwell as well from the Airs, who had a really good game against the Tuatara as well. So he slots in.
They just missed
at the
out
honorable
because
mentions.
they had 2 games and they had one really good game each, but then the other game they were slightly less efficient or
Underperformed slightly more,
Slightly.
considering what we have for the third, second, and first place boys, who had a very, very good round,
yeah.
to say the least.
And leading off in third, the guy I watched live from the Rams. He's not the only Ram on this list.
No, he's not.
Spoiler alert. Sean McDonald. He had 31 points in this one. 7 for 12 from 3. One of 2 players specifically who were just knocking down every 3-pointer they shot. And helped them get that massive 53-point win or whatever it was against the Tuatara. So had to give it to him. They only played once this week, but winning by that much against a good Tuatara team, you have to put him on there.
Absolutely.
And his teammate. Who's his teammate at second, Finn?
Number 2, CJ Pena. Oh my God, this guy's an absolute bucket. Love watching him play. I didn't get to watch the whole game because I was away on a little trippy la. But CJ Pena, 34 points, 7-11 from 3. Yeah, that's a pretty good stat line if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. And
So
he had
he-
a crazy dunk as well.
He did have a very
Came
nice
down the
dunk.
lane. Boom.
Yeah,
Bro's athletic
Charles
as hell.
Pride tried his best to put him off, but didn't look good.
So we had to put the 2 Rams on there because, I mean, when you win by that much away in
You
Auckland,
got to.
You got to get on there.
Man, they're looking good. Are they going to go triple, three-peat this year? I mean,
I think they're the favourites too.
Top of the table.
When you're doing that, and then you got other guys who weren't even like as big of a role in this one. Max Darling, Toby Smith-Milner,
Taylor Britt.
Brett,
The Isaac boys.
Taylor Britt
they
did play well though. To be
Yeah.
fair, they're stacked.
Great team.
Great.
Really
team.
great team. And, that three-peat could be looming. But who's at number 1?
Yeah, they couldn't quite top number 1 for us. It was close, but having only played 1 game this week might have hurt them a little bit because Miles Gibson from the Manawatu Jets, back-to-back 30-point games, both wins as well against the Phi and the Panthers. I mean, if you're dropping 30 twice,
You deserve to be
week,
at number 1.
you deserve to be a number 1. So shout out to him. That's another. How are we doing the point system again? That's another 3 points to Miles Gibson.
There you go.
We're doing 3, 2, and 1.
3, 2, and 1. Yeah.
3, 2, and 1.
And
So
we will honestly. I don't even have a tally of the points.
We'll go back and tally
We're going to
it up.
get to the end of the season, and we're going to have to do a little bit of math.
We've got it all written down, so maybe we'll put that in one of the clips or something.
Maybe. Or we try. I think we should keep it secret.
Keep it
I
secret.
reckon we should keep it
Just
secret.
random at the end of the season.
Just
this
throw
is
it
the guy
out
that
there,
won it.
and then we have the trophy just sitting here, just
Well,
waiting.
no, we'll have the trophy in our hands as we're hopping onto a private jet paid for and funded by the player that
Oh, the
by
player.
the team that the player plays for as they fly us down to that said city and let us give it to them.
What a great idea! And what a generous offer from the team of the player that wins the Fast Break Podcast MVP for us to get into private jet and go fly down and give it to
However,
them.
I'm having a feeling that we may just be walking down to our local North Shore Event Centre.
I wonder
That's
why.
spoiler alert, but who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see how he keeps up for the rest of the season.
Before we move on to the NBA, though, Will, I had to highlight something that was very interesting that I noticed in the Indian Panthers game this week against the Manawatu Jets. 6 players out for personal reasons.
No way. I wonder why that is.
Really, really confusing.
Random as,
all
eh?
local players. I won't
Really?
name them all. All 6 local players out for personal reasons.
Wow.
If anyone knows what's been going on, 6 players, I'm sure it wasn't illness; it was personal. However, this was interesting. They had to pull in some players last minute, but man, 6 players is a lot, and they were probably all quite pivotal pieces. But it gave one player in particular. Shout out Stephen Pyer,
Hey,
getting
Stephen.
his first NZNBL start.
At power forward.
Power forward,
How are you not getting 10 rebounds, mate?
Stephen.
I called him out on this.
Yeah, I would too. He might only be about 6'2", maybe 6'1" at power forward. He had 14 points in 25 minutes. Shout out Stephen, that's our guy.
Shout out to the bro. He had a tough ass step back 3 as well.
On the buzzer.
On the buzzer. It was like a fadeaway deep 3 almost.
Yeah, it was nice.
Crazy.
Yeah, but 6 players out, personal reasons.
So random, bro.
Really, really interesting stuff there, isn't it?
Yeah. I have no idea why
I'd
that
love
is.
to get to the bottom of that.
It's a great organization. You wonder why they wouldn't want to play for an organization like that.
And just the Indian Panthers, head office staff, just putting my name out there, putting my hand up for the last game of the season at North Shore Event Centre, playing against the Auckland Tuatara. If you're low on players, I just live down the road. If you need someone to jump in.
if you guys need someone to miss a bunch of free throws for you and have no impact whatsoever on the game,
I'm your guy.
miss 22 shots, go 0 for 22.
22. You think I'm taking a shot?
Then that's your guy.
That's me. Hey, if you need me, I'm
However,
here.
if you want a sharpshooter who's going to shoot 10 for 10 from 3 and drop 26 dimes...
Then you need to go elsewhere. Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
Let's get off this topic before we start making a fool of ourselves and really get into the nitty and gritty of what this episode is probably all about. And that,
What
of
everyone's
course,
here for.
And that is of course, the NBA playoffs.
Yeah. Man, it's been entertaining.
Oh, to say the least, Will, to say the least.
Couple series we'll quickly skim over because, well, one's done already.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's happened. The Thunder sweep the Grizzlies 4-0.
You don't know how that's happened.
I mean,
I'll tell you
I
why
thought
it's
the
happened.
Grizzlies would get at least one.
Well, they almost did. And then they blew a crazy lead.
They were up 29 points, Finn.
Yeah.
29 points, and somehow the Thunder came back to not just win by 1, I think it was 6 in the end.
Jeez.
So a 35-point swing in, I don't know if it was the third or the fourth quarter where it started.
Have we underestimated them a little bit?
I think everyone's underestimated them a little bit.
Like obviously, first seed in the West, 68 wins, best team in the NBA. But everyone's saying, "Oh, they're not experienced enough to make a deep run in the playoffs. They're
At
going
least
to lose."
people we've talked to, like most people I've talked to, don't have the Thunder coming out of the West. It's the Lakers is the name I keep hearing.
And that's
they
going to
might
be
not even get out of the first.
Yeah,
round.
and we'll get into that very shortly. But look, the Thunder, just an incredibly dominant first round against the Grizzlies. They'll obviously be playing the winner of the Clippers-Nuggets series, which is giving
That
me...
series wrapped up so quick as well.
I know, just
4-0.
like
I think
that.
it's because Oklahoma and Memphis are very close by, so it's not much of a toll on them to travel. I don't know if that played a role.
Do they have less rest days, maybe?
Maybe. But the
Potentially.
fact that they've already played 4 games, whereas every other team's played, 3? So they're a game ahead of everyone, apart from the Clippers-Nuggets are 2-2 as well. That's the only other series that's played 4 games.
Wow. That Thunder team, though, you know what's crazy? It's not just like Shea wasn't crazy good in the first couple games either. Eh?
No.
It was like the whole supporting cast has just been.
Chet Holmgren was big in that comeback win.
Yeah,
Shea did go off in this game 4. I think he had 38 points. But yeah,
it's bound to happen.
bound to happen.
MVP.
He has been down a little bit in the first 3, but yeah, hopefully they go and have a competitive round 2 series, I'd hope, against the Clippers or Nuggets.
Which is probably going to end up happening, but I mean they're going to have to wait a little bit. I think
Yeah, that one's going 7.
if we scan our eyes over it. Well, it's 2-2.
Take it away.
Should have
Finn,
been
what happened?
3-1. Should have been
Game 4.
3-1. I mean, Game 3 was great. We haven't covered. Game 3 was this week as well.
I think we only ever in the last episode. I think we only covered game 1 of 4 of the series.
Potentially. But I mean, games 3 and 4 are fresh in our minds still.
Yeah.
The first game at Intuit Dome, the first ever playoff game at Intuit Dome, was honestly a blowout win. I would call it a blowout.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone was playing so well. The crowd got behind the boys. And man, we were just firing on all cylinders, man.
Kawhi's automatic.
He was sniping. However, we fast forward to today, game 4. And a little bit of the opposite, unfortunately. Both teams wildly inefficient from the field and the three-point line, turnover magnets. But you just got to remember one thing. The Nuggets have Nikola Jokic. Mm-hmm. He's quite hard to stop.
What do you have in this? 39 and 21 or something?
Yeah, something stupid.
Insane.
Really good game. However, the Clippers almost brought it back. After a very ropey third quarter, the boys were down 22 points
Damn.
with 11 minutes and 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter. However, they brought it all the way back and took a 1-point lead with just over a minute left, courtesy of a great run from all the boys on a very good defensive fourth quarter on the back of everyone. Norman Powell, in particular, was clutch in this game.
About time.
Powell's had... In
sucks.
LA, Powell's... You gotta chill, bro. Norman Powell's been great in the last
Tell
2.
me he doesn't suck.
He doesn't suck.
He sucks.
Shut up.
He sucks.
You're rage baiting me live on the pod. Back-to-back games, Norman Powell has been efficient and been good when he needed to be called upon. So happy for Norm, defensively being solid as well. However, we brought it all the way back, tied at 1 possession left. Jokic puts up an absolute prayer on a double team from Kawhi and Zubac. Air balls left side of the rim. Oh, who's there? The 2-time slam dunk contest winner, Aaron Gordon. And he gets a putback dunk. Walk-off putback dunk with quite literally 0.01 seconds in it.
It was so close.
I
could have seen it going the other way.
The freeze frames are insane. So you have one picture, which is literally a frame before the ball leaves his hand. And you can see the shot clock light on the backboard beginning to light up. Like it's on the edges, it's a little bit red, but it's technically not on yet. And then the next frame, the ball's out of his hand, it's completely red.
So you think it was clean? It was off in time?
Yeah, it was. Unfortunately. So Tied up 2-2 going back to Denver.
That's going to be a tough game in Denver, Finn.
Yeah. However, if we drop a game in Denver, I'm confident enough to say that we will win Game 6 in LA.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we'll be going back to Denver for Game 7.
This is going 7.
It has to go.
I'll put the bank on it.
Look, I reckon whoever wins, if we win the next game in Denver, I have some confidence that we can win Game 6 and take it in 6 games.
I don't know. Even if you win the next game in Denver, I feel as though Jokic coming back to LA would just be on a mission and he would not lose. He'd have more hunger than anyone else, and I think he'd win that game. So I think regardless, we're going 7.
This series is just so entertaining.
The best series, we've been saying it.
From a non-biased basketball standpoint, if I wasn't a Clippers fan, this would be the most insane series ever for a first round matchup that anyone could have asked for.
I don't think anyone's disagreeing with you.
And as a Clippers fan, my heart is just beating. In the last quarter, I think I'm going to have a heart attack. So I couldn't even watch the game today. I was driving back on a road trip, so I tuned in to the radio commentary of the Clippers. Shout out Carlos Jimenez, that's my guy. And just listening to it, I was just... heart was racing. I couldn't even see it, but I could visualize it. And oh my god, just to hear us claw all the way back and get that 1-point lead, and then tied, 8 seconds left, and Aaron Gordon just does it again, man.
It's all right, Finn. It's all right. You know what?
We still got 3 games left.
No Jokic, that could have been a pass.
Nah, there's absolutely no way.
Who knows?
Aaron Gordon came flying in from the wing, no box out. James Harden
Maybe that
tried his bit.
No,
Absolutely no chance.
Who knows?
Man,
I wouldn't put it past Jokic.
This has been in just an insane series. Some of the best players in this playoff picture in general. I mean, Kawhi's been on an absolute heater. Yeah. Struggled today a little bit, along with the rest of the Clippers boys. I mean, Harden was okay. Zubac has been consistent, been trying his absolute best against Jokic, which, I mean, it's Jokic. I don't care. Statistically, he guards him the best in the league, I think, but it still doesn't help. But
still Jokic.
A great series. It's 2-2. They go to Denver. Hopefully, we'll see a 7-game series. Even as a Clippers fan, for my heart, I think I'd still love to see a 7-game series.
Another quick series we'll skim over. Cavs Heat. Cavs are up 3-0 in this one. I don't think anyone else would say it's crazy to say the Cavs are probably going to get through this one in 4. The Heat have been impressive at moments. They've kept it close games, but when it matters, the Cavs just pull away in these ones. Dominate in every game. And I think they win in 4 in Miami. So shout out to the Heat for being the first ever 10 seed to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
but
fair.
I think your chances are done there, mate. You don't have a Jimmy Butler.
The depth of the Cavs is just next level. Yeah. They can rely on so many great players. I mean, man, Ty Jerome's even had a few just really impressive games this series. And I mean, he's coming off the bench.
Him and Hunter, 2 6-man of the year candidates, both coming off the bench.
There you go. Just doing their thing. I don't see them losing. Series, there's no chance.
Round 2 will be interesting, though. Hopefully against the Bucks.
Ooh, I don't know. We'll get into that in a bit.
Speaking of another team that doesn't have Jimmy Butler right now, the Golden State Warriors.
Oh.
And you know why they don't have Jimmy Butler? And I'm talking directly to you, Ben Drown. Because Draymond Green is one of the most dirty players in NBA history.
I agree.
Horrible human. I probably shouldn't speak about him as a human. But I mean... If that's the sort of stuff he's doing on the basketball court, I doubt he's probably a very nice guy in person either.
I reckon he is. He went to LeBron's wedding, I think. Sorry. He invited LeBron to his wedding. They're good mates, which is surprising.
Did LeBron go?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Draymond must be nice off the court. But have you seen... I've seen TikTok compilations of him just absolutely trying to behead majority of the Rockets team.
Yeah, he's just the most dirty player. Him and Dylan Brooks are right up there, and they're going back and forth with each other. But he pushes... Amen Thompson into Jimmy Butler, injuring Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's out for the series. And I see people online... Oh, no, sorry, not out the series, but he was out for Game 3. And I don't know what his status is for Game 4. But if it's bad, he could be out for the whole series. And I just see people online saying, Amen Thompson's the dirty player.
No way.
Who, dived into Jimmy's legs. You can clearly go back and watch it. There's some delusional Warriors fans out there. One specifically, extremely delusional.
Right down to the camera and tell them, Will.
And they're saying that Draymond played no part in this. Go back and watch it. Draymond Green pushed Amen Thompson right into Jimmy Butler's legs. Okay, get that through your head, Warriors fans. Sorry, that's all I have to say about this series.
They're up 2-1 though. What is going on? Houston, we have a problem. That was so cringe. I apologize. But in all fairness, I didn't expect a 2-1 lead from the Warriors.
I mean, we both picked the Warriors winning the series, though.
Did we?
not?
I can't actually remember.
Yes, you picked the Warriors as well.
Well,
I don't think anyone picked the Rockets, to be perfectly honest. Everybody kind of writ them off. But you know what I will say is I think the Rockets win the series if Jimmy Butler doesn't come back.
I mean, Curry had a great game today.
He did.
So
But I think you need Jimmy Butler to have any playoff chances.
playoff Jimmy is different.
He is.
I mean, watching Quinton Post start at center is really interesting.
Well, who else do they have at center? Kevon Looney?
The fact that
No thanks.
yeah, well, he's a veteran.
He sucks.
Crazy.
Not on
I
power
just
level.
didn't expect the Warriors to be up 2-1. I would have expected the Rockets to at least have 2 games here, especially with no Jimmy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they should definitely have won this without Jimmy.
Oh, 100%.
You know who else sucks? Sorry, I'm shitting
You're on a
lot of
heater.
players
You're on a heater.
today. Fred VanVleet.
Damn, that guy.
Oh my
Hey, you know who will agree with you on
goodness.
that? Luke Trafford. He
Yeah.
hates Fred VanVleet.
I was actually sitting with Luke watching the game earlier.
Not a fan of him, is he?
No one likes Luke. No,
No one likes Luke. I like Luke.
no
Luke, I
one
like
likes
you.
Fred VanVleet.
No one
Sorry.
Luke pulled up some crazy stat the other day and said Fred VanVleet since like February or something has only had 2 games with 4 or more made field goals. That can't be real.
No, it is. I think, speaking of overrated players, Halliburton won it on the player polls came out.
Is that real?
Yeah, it's the players around the league vote for the most overrated player.
Does the NBA send that out?
No, I think it's like a media thing. I think
Oh,
it's
wow.
and they're all like incognito, like no one knows who the players are that voted for what.
Anonymous.
But Halliburton was voted as the most overrated player. I think Fred VanVleet should have been up there as well, to be honest. Is he still overrated
No,
at
but
this
like
point?
Fred VanVleet isn't being pushed as an all-star and like a top 3-point guard in the NBA.
But he's still a starting point guard. I doubt he shouldn't even be on a bench. He should be in the G League.
You know who
Sorry.
else is a starting point guard though? Scoot Henderson. No, just kidding. He's not
Nah,
even a starting
deserve
point
that.
guard.
He's
He might
not.
be. Scoot Henderson's probably better than Fred VanVleet.
He's off the bench.
Yeah, I know.
Give
And
me
he's probably
Scoot
better
Henny
than
there.
Who was just Denny Ad? No.
Anthony Simons.
Is he a point guard?
He's a 1 or 2.
We're off the tangent. Let's get back onto the NBA playoffs. Lakers Wolves. Jeez. Didn't expect this, to be honest.
No,
You had Lakers winning this quite comfortably, I believe.
I think I had them in 6. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not looking like it.
I could still win in 6, but I think the Wolves are going to win this series now.
Yeah.
That's my new pick.
Nah, they're only down 2-1. They got another game in Minnesota.
Yeah. If they lose, that's a must-win for them.
Oh, yeah.
If they lose, they're down
3-1,
3-1.
there's no chance.
No.
Too much momentum. Look,
People forget, man. 3-1 series is pretty much over.
essentially.
It's
that's
only
why
happened like, what, 6 times? Something like that?
Not a lot of times. And you know who's done that twice?
LeBron.
No, the Clippers. They have blown
Have they?
2 of them.
Really?
2 of them.
Wow.
One against the Nuggets and one against the
But the player
Rockets.
you want if you are down 3-1 is LeBron.
You
Remember, what year was that? 2016, 17?
26,
Fact check me if
15,
I'm wrong.
2015, 16 NBA Finals. Bench round. Ring a bell.
Man, we've said his name too much
Yeah,
on this podcast. He
we
doesn't
have.
deserve
He doesn't even, I don't think he listens.
shout-outs.
Anywho, this game was great. Something to do with the Wolves supporting cast in this series has been really good. Jaden McDaniels with 30 points.
He's looking like KD, bro.
Him and Naz Reid, bro. I mean, Naz Reid wasn't crazy in this game, but Jaden McDaniels. Go, Jaden McDaniels. And
Yeah, that dude.
Ant was good too. 29, 8 and 8. LeBron, vintage game from LeBron. This is what we want to see in the playoffs from LeBron. 38 and 10, but man, Doncic was really poor.
Yeah, you need both of them to play good.
17
Can't just
on
be having one of them.
17 points, poor efficiency. Austin Reeves had 20. Like Rui's only got 8 points. I mean, they don't have a big man, so I mean, it's just basically a write-off of Jackson Hayes to have a double-digit game. I think that's where they're lacking. I mean, you got Julius Randle, who's still playing pretty good. I think he had 22 in this one as well. So
It's an interesting series.
It
Hopefully
is
the Lakers
weird.
tie it up.
Crazy dynamic though when you think about it. You have some of the best players in the NBA versus a very well-rounded team with a young gun and Ant. Who wins it? Like it's a weird dynamic, you know.
It's tough. And like they may be the 6th seed and the Lakers are the 3 seed, but seeding in the West this year
Doesn't
really
matter.
didn't matter.
Didn't matter
At all.
Nah.
One
Well,
I
look
mean
at the Warriors, man. The 7th seed against the 2nd seed.
because even that wasn't much in it in terms of games.
No.
The only clear-cut person away from that pack was OKC.
Yeah, 68 wins.
And we saw what they did to the
Ridiculous.
Grizzlies.
So stupid.
Every other series, and I want to see as many Game 7s as possible.
No,
As a
why
basketball
would you
fan,
not?
I hope every single series goes to Game 7. Because there's just always more on the line in Game 7s. Imagine we can see Game 7 series buzzer beaters. Shout out Kawhi Leonard,
Is that the
2019.
only one in history, by the way?
Yeah.
Probably the best buzzer beater I've
It's
ever
only
seen.
Game 7
Buzzer beater,
series buzzer
yeah.
beater. But let me I probably reminded people last week about it as well.
Oh, here we
Damian Lillard's at 2 series winners, though. So
Yeah,
just had to chuck that out there.
Yeah, no one cares.
Only person in NBA history to hit more than one.
Is
Anyway,
he actually?
yeah.
2 walk-off series winners.
Yeah.
And one of them was a bad shot. One of them was a bad shot.
This clown.
Yeah, I mean.
How's he doing this year?
How's he doing in the playoffs? Oh wait. They're nowhere to be seen, the old 76ers.
I should probably
Unfortunate.
stop glazing Dame before you catch on to how he's been playing.
Yeah,
in the Bucks
well,
places.
shall we look at the Pacers versus Bucks series then?
Let's look at it.
I'll start. Pacers up 2-1. Slightly unexpected, considering Dame made a miracle comeback from DVT, of course. But he sucks. Has he had a double-digit game since returning?
I'm not going to take this.
No, he doesn't.
I'm not going to take this.
He doesn't.
He had a life-threatening condition.
Oh, here we go.
That not many players come back from. Chris Bosh had this same thing. Wembanyama had this year. And he
I
was
think he
out
still
for the
has it.
entire year. Still has it. Dame Dollar came back in a miracle time span. But even then, it might have been a bit too soon because he's clearly struggling out there. It's no fault of his at all. He hasn't found a shot yet, but that's what you expect when he's been out for quite a while. He just needs one more game. He's going to go out there next game, game 4 in Milwaukee. He's going to help tie up the series by dropping a 58 piece.
Okay.
With 10 threes.
You want to put money on that?
I'll put money on it. He has 30. Should we do a live bet on the podcast right now? $10.
$10?
$10 he has over 30.
Shake on it. You'll see us next episode handing over the money.
$10. Dame has 30 points in game 4.
Yeah, there you go. $10 on it. There you go. That's his line.
That's a silly bet for
That's
me. I
such
bet,
a- that-
I
that's
bet
the-
his actual over-under's like...
That's the freest
19.
$10 I ever made, and I'll slap it straight on the pokies. But you know who? Giannis has been really good,
Yeah.
to be honest.
He's been the only consistent point for the Bucks.
Yeah.
He had like 39 as well in the game 3 win, which was a must win in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
They went down by like 12 in this game as well.
Jeez.
But they went on a crazy run led by none other than
Gary Trent Jr.
Jr.
Hey, I had him in fantasy to start the year, and he was so ass. And then he had such a good back end of the season. I regret not having him.
Bro,
But
37 points.
Yo.
Franchise playoff record, 9 3-pointers, tying Ray Allen. Ray Allen had 9 for the Bucks back in
you go.
02 or whatever.
Back in his day.
Yeah, he was the only sole reason, well, him and Giannis, why the Bucks were able to come away with the win in this one. And we're going to need more of that, but we need more players than just Giannis to step up in Game 4. And I'm calling it out. It'll be Damian Lillard. But aside from that, we also need players like Bobby Portis.
Brook Lopez.
I'm saying we, even though I'm a Blazers fan. I feel like a Bucks fan right now.
Oh, yeah, your boy's in there.
Let's normalize having 2 teams.
No,
Support.
we can't do that.
Why?
But they need... Because we're not doing that. We
Yeah,
need...
true.
You guys need Brook Lopez. Not you guys. The Bucks need Brook Lopez, and they need Dame to step up. They need Bobby Portis to step up.
Kyle
AJ
Kuzma.
Green, Kyle Kuzma. AJ
He's
Green needs to
terrible.
have like 12 points off the bench, 4 threes.
And you know who I want to see us play? Who I want the Bucks to play? Andre Jackson Jr. That
No.
dude is clamps. Bro, he is
He's just-
clamps. He's
just
one of the best
bouncy.
perimeter defenders in the league. We need to get him minutes playing.
The Bucks need
The
to get
Bucks
him
need
minutes.
to give him minutes guarding Halliburton. He would absolutely clamp up Halliburton, who sucks, by the way. I'm sorry. I want to go on a rant about this guy. I can't stand Halliburton, man. He was talking to Damian Lillard in Game 1 when he was out on the bench, talking his smack as if he's anything in this league at all. Halliburton will never, and I'll say this right now, sorry to all Pacers fans out there, he will never accomplish a quarter of the things that Damian Lillard has in his career.
All that Damian Lillard has done is win a Rookie of the Year.
Oh my God, shut up.
That's all he's done.
People forget he was
Don't say it.
he was the bubble MVP.
Yep, there it is. There it is. There it is.
Bubble MVP.
No one cares about the bubble MVP.
Top 75 player all time.
Shouldn't have been.
9-time All-Star.
Yeah, fair.
7-time All-NBA. Rookie of the Year. Halliburton will
That's
never
it.
be any of those things.
That's it.
And 2025 NBA champion. Finals MVP.
You know,
as well.
you had the Bucks winning the whole thing.
I do.
It's not looking good, bro.
Bro, it's 2-1. Game 4's in Milwaukee. We're going to win that one. 2-2 series. The Bucks are going to win that one. 2-2 series. When I say we, I'm talking about me and Dame.
Oh, okay. You know, I'll
Yeah.
allow.
I'm talking about me and Dame.
Yeah.
Not the rest of the Bucks. I don't care about the rest of the Bucks.
Okay. I'll take it.
And then games 5 and 6, I think they win both of those as well.
Okay.
From 2-0 down, I think they win
4 in a row.
4-2. Heard it here first.
Okay.
But yeah, very entertaining series there as well. Definitely going to be keeping my eyes on that one. What else has happened?
Crazy.
I think we got a few more to cover here. Magic Celtics, Knicks Pistons.
We do. The Magic stole a game. Good for them.
Yeah.
They're still going to lose the series.
In 5. I'm sorry.
They don't win another game in Orlando?
Who knows? Maybe they could. That'd be really impressive if. I think Celtics win Game 4 for sure. They could steal Game 5 in what would that be Game 5? Yeah, Game 5 in Orlando. And make it 3-2.
No, Game 5 would be in Boston. Game 5 in Boston.
True. Oh yeah, of course. Next one's in Orlando. Yeah, no, I don't think they're winning then. There's no way they tie up the series against the Celtics.
I don't think so.
They're losing the next game, and then they're not going to win in Boston.
Wait, did Jason Tatum play today?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He's back. Yeah, I think he had a really good game. Sorry, fact check me if I'm wrong on that. But 2-1, Magics get a win.
Celtics go all the way. I'm riding that wave, honestly.
Win it all.
I still think they can do it.
You're not scared that they just lost a game to the Magic?
No.
And the 2 games they won against the Magic weren't super convincing. They did win, but
I just see it happening. I don't know.
Gotta get out of the East first.
Because who would they have in the second round? The winner of the Knicks Pistons, right?
Yeah. We'll cover that one quickly. Knicks are up 2-1 in this one. All 3 games have been incredibly close, right down to the wire. I've been impressed with the Pistons. Obviously, I picked them to win this matchup.
Surprising.
Which was I don't think many people rode that wave with me, but I think it's looking good for people who pick the Pistons. Although they're down 2-1, you got Game 4 in Detroit. I think they can tie up the series there.
Yeah,
and Cade Cunningham hasn't really gone off in a game.
He had one
either.
good. He had Game 2. He played alright, didn't he?
I think so. He had like 20 something, but he hasn't had like a 30-piece, 40-piece yet even. I think a big game for Cade Cunningham, and I think he can tie up this series against the Knicks.
So you had Cade as the best player in the series.
Yeah,
he hasn't.
I'm standing on that.
He still hasn't been.
He might not have been so far, but I still just think he's the best.
Still a few games left.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
What, 5 games? 4 games left? I think this goes 7 as well.
It's going to be a good series.
It is.
It's going to be a good series. I still think the Knicks win it, bro. I can't see a young Pistons team. I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks win, of course. I just think it's a great series.
Yeah. Not
I'd
sure.
I'd love to see the Pistons.
You know what we haven't covered on this episode? Peyton Pritchard won 6th Man of the Year.
He did.
Yeah.
Good point.
You had him quite. You had Malik Monk at the start of the year.
Did I?
I had Norman Powell.
True.
And then later on, we talked about I had Ty Jerome. You had Peyton Pritchard.
Who do we have for Depoy? Because that's announced as well. Evan Mobley's Depoy.
Yeah, Evan Mobley is Depoy. I think Dyson Daniels might have got robbed low key.
I think so.
Low key.
Most steals per game since like 1992 when John Stockton had like 3.4.
Did he break the single season record in the end?
I don't think so.
It was really close though.
Yeah. Oh, deflections. I think he broke the.
He broke that at like the 30th something game. I think Dyson Daniels might have got robbed.
I agree.
It was close.
Mobley was
obviously
good.
If Wemby didn't go out, he was winning it.
Yeah.
You know when Gobert won it last season, and Wemby was like, "That's the last one you're ever gonna win." Wow, he might have jinxed himself.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
That's the last one anyone's gonna win.
Well, that's if Wemby comes back from DVT, bro.
True.
Which
don't even
praise
say
up,
that.
man. Praise up for Wemby. I want.
Wemby's so entertaining,
He will be
man.
if Wemby doesn't return from deep vein thrombosis.
Let's not even talk about it.
He'll
He's
be the
coming
biggest
back.
what if in NBA history, and we can't even talk about it because it's not going to happen. But I think we've run through every single series that has happened so far, and of course next week we're going to have. I think every series potentially might be wrapped up by the time we are here next week.
Oh, yeah, I think it will be.
And
then
then
some Game 7s.
And then we'll be able to do our second round predictions.
Ooh, hopefully.
And
hopefully we won't have to. If we get our predictions right, all of the first round predictions.
We'll recap, and then we'll see how we go.
Although we had some different takes in there. So
yeah, we did. I'm telling you now, the Pistons aren't winning. I'm telling you now, the Clippers might win. I'm actually not sure. And
that's the closest series.
And look, the Wolves might win the series against the Lakers, and I think we both had the Lakers too.
Which ones are looking good for us? Obviously, we both picked Thunder. We both picked Cavs. Those ones are locks. Celtics are the lock. Pacers Bucks is looking rough as well.
Yeah, I think we both had the Bucks.
No, it's not looking rough.
Be an optimistic Dame fan, not a Bucks fan, because you aren't a Bucks fan.
Well, it wasn't just optimistic. Like even you picked the Bucks.
No,
you have no reason to pick.
No, I'm saying being optimistic now.
Oh yeah,
because Dame has been shit.
And now I got $10 on the line as well.
You got $10. When is game 4?
Tomorrow.
Well,
by the time the podcast is out.
Oh, lovely! And I'll have $10 in my hand by the next episode, and I'll be flaunting it in the thumbnail picture.
You're going to be handing me that.
It'll be there.
No, it won't be on the podcast next week.
Nope, he's not having more than 25 points.
We'll see. Tune in next week, guys, and to see that $10 handover.